The subgenre of horror that I focus my trailer on is psychological horror. I chose this as personally I think that it is much scarier than other subgenres. This is purely because it tends to focus more on everyday life, making it seem much more realistic. Also, it usually revolves around things that the audience can relate to, making it seem as if it could happen to them, which heightens the fear. At the beginning of my trailer, I made sure to include an age classification screen, also known as an MPAA splash. This is a very common convention of all trailers of all genres, as it indicates whether or not the trailer will be suitable for a certain age group. As my trailer is a psychological horror, I chose an MPAA splash that stated the age as PG-13. A common convention of psychological horror is that the protagonist tends to appear normal. There aren't any physical signs that will make them appear evil to the audience. I've reflected this in my trailer, as in the opening sequence, she is shown to be living an average life, causing false certainty among the audience, as they would not expect her to be the antagonist and the protagonist. This convention is shown in the trailer for The Gift. Similarly to my trailer, the main characters are portrayed as extremely normal and just going about their day-to-day life. The only thing that could suggest that everything is not as it seems is through the use of the diegetic music in the background. This is a feature I also implemented into my trailer to build tension. Another convention that I used in my trailer is colour correcting my shots. Colour correction makes the shots appear darker and more artistic, and is a feature I saw frequently when researching the genre. Colour correction can be seen in this opening sequence of the film The Snare. The lack of colour in the shots could make the audience feel unsteady, as they can predict that something bad will happen within the film. Flashbacks are also commonly used in the genre. This gives the audience an insight into what is going on in the protagonist's mind, and can also give the audience more information on where they are today and why. Flashbacks are usually colour corrected to make them stand out from the other shots. In my trailer, I put a blurred camera lens effect on the shot, as well as increasing the brightness. In my trailer, I used flashbacks to show the audience the happiness that my main character was feeling in that time, which is then contrasted when it goes back to the normal, dull shots, exemplifying the life she is living now. A form of inspiration for this came from me watching the series The Sinner. Flashbacks are a crucial part of the development of the film. Similarly to my trailer, the flashbacks are brightened to stand out from the other shots. However, the use of flashbacks in this trailer is different to mine, as they are used in an attempt to piece together why the protagonist did what she did, whereas my flashbacks show the character's emotions at that time. The antagonist in my trailer uses a knife as a weapon. However, within the trailer we do not find out who she has killed with it, we just assume who it would be. This prop choice challenges the conventions of psychological horror, as it usually just focuses on the disruption of the antagonist's mind. I wanted to provoke a larger sense of fear and unknown to the audience, which is why I chose to use a knife. Examples of films that use knives as their weapons are Psycho, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, The Shining, directed by Stanley Kubrick, and Scream 4, which was directed by Wes Craven. Throughout my trailer, I've used intertitles as a way of revealing the narrative to the audience, as well as building tension. This is a common convention used throughout horror trailers, as it subtly gives out extra details to the audience. I chose for my intertitles to be placed in front of a video glitch effect. I did this to symbolise the disruption that is occurring in the antagonist's mind. I furthered this by putting the text off-centre. I also put the text in white writing to ensure that it stood out against the background. The series of titles that inspired me was from the trailer Don't Hang Up, directed by Damien Mace. The titles give extra information about the trailer throughout. I liked how in this trailer the titles were very short and snappy, making it easy to read and creating an effect on the audience. I also liked that there was an effect put onto them, linking to the technological plot of the trailer. One shot I made sure to put in my trailer was the establishing shot. This shot very clearly establishes the location to the audience, giving them more context on characters. I was inspired by establishing shots from many trailers, for example, The Conjuring, The Cabin in the Woods, and The Woman in Black. All of these shots were colour corrected to give it a muted tone, creating a scarier feel. I used this technique in my establishing shot using Adobe Premiere, also to make it appear creepier. I also used a low-angle shot looking up at the house to make it appear powerful to the audience. A convention that I challenge from the horror genre is through the use of an extreme close-up. In my trailer, I use this shot to portray the evil that is transforming the protagonist into an antagonist. I use red lighting to conform to the horror genre, as the colour red has connotations of evil and blood, which are two aspects of my trailer. I also created an edit which made a purple lightning bolt go across her forehead, which is also symbolic of her mind shifting. The reason this challenges the horror genre is because in many trailers the evil is barely revealed and you just see glimpses of them, whereas in my trailer you are shown them straight from the beginning. Also, I challenged the convention as the extreme close-up is usually of the victim, which gets the audience to sympathise with them and show the extreme emotion that they are feeling. This can be seen within this clip from the Blair Witch Project. The first ancillary text that I created was my film poster. When creating my poster, I tried to go with a more conventional theme that would link directly back to my film trailer. First convention that I followed of film posters was adding the actress and actor's name at the top. This enabled the audience to immediately identify the main characters within the film. Also, because I presented my main actress as if she was already a known star, this would draw more attention to the poster from her fans and people that have seen movies with her in them already. I feel that my poster is also conventional through my main image. Firstly, a common convention of the psychological horror genre is to have the main character as the focus. I followed this completely. I also feel that the mise-en-scène is effective through the use of the knife as a prop, linking not only to my film but to the horror genre also. The character is laying in her bed, which is also a direct link to the theme of my film. I also challenged the conventions of main image. I made the decision to not use direct address in the form of eye contact, which is a common feature of many film posters, which I will now show. I used this method within the production of my poster because I wanted the attention to be focused more on the knife and the strangeness of her holding this in her sleep, which created a sense of ambiguity for the audience. Another conventional feature of my film poster is the font that I used. I discovered in my researching that many film posters have graphic font with scratches, blood, and other visual effects. This provides a link to the conventions of the horror genre and makes the text more interesting to look at. This is furthered by the use of the colours red and black to symbolise blood, evil, and danger. In my poster, I ensured that I used these two features to make my title stand out to an audience. Slogan is another conventional feature that I have implemented into my poster. These give the audience a larger insight as to what the film is about. Slogans usually try and create a direct link between the producer and the receiver. I have done this by using the pronoun you in an attempt to get the audience more engaged with the poster. In addition, the majority of film posters from all genres have billing blocks added. These show the producers, directors, distribution company, and many other important elements. I followed the usual format of a billing block in my poster as I didn't want anything to distract from the main image. A convention that I challenged of posters was a film review. Many posters have these to make their film look more professional. Although I would have liked to have a film review on my poster, I felt that if I added one, it would have ruined the sense of space surrounding my character. Because of this, I chose to keep my poster the way it was. The second ancillary text that I produced was my magazine. Similarly to my poster, I mostly tried to follow a conventional kind of look to provide the greatest audience satisfaction. The masthead of my poster is conventional to the horror genre, as well as magazines in general. Firstly, the font and design of the text is effective as it looks distressed and torn, which is an aesthetic of the horror genre and can immediately show what the magazine is specialising in. Two examples of magazines that use this aesthetic is Scream and Fangoria. I also made sure to include elements conventional to magazines. This includes the issue date, website, price, and barcode. All of these features are essential for their own different reasons, and a magazine would not be successful without them.